Div 1 year in EU Masters, 1 year, then he goes on to LEC. It's been a very much, you say, speed run the entire way through. We'll have to see now if Yai can get himself back on towards something a bit more comfortable. Looks like at the moment, Loud going for the exact same ban, same with G2. Nothing is changing up here. We'll have to see again if it's going to be that last ban, Annie coming through for Loud here.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to go for it, or if they do end up focusing out that Jinx like you mentioned. But curious enough, actually, Loud chose to go onto the red side this game. They said, look, we're happy with this. And I do think I kind of agree with them to a certain extent that, like, it kind of just came down to a little bit of misexecution in that game one. Everything else they did was absolutely fantastic. So if we see the exact same drafts here, I don't think Loud are upset.
Yeah, it's just that wasn't massively impressed by the Nautilus. G2 looked like they want to go back towards it though, and they will. Just going to keep that flexibility open. We'll have to see if they're going to have a better time in the mid lane here, and will Loud just answer with the exact same things. Take the Aphelios for yourself, make sure that you're happy there, and then just take that Sejuani for Croc in the jungle too.
And the big thing as well, I think the thing is that, yes, the Nautilus can go into the bot lane and the mid lane. It's a bit of a flex for G2. It's also a denial away from Seos, because he's almost exclusively played it throughout the entirety of the CB LoL, and when he hasn't played it, he has kind of defaulted back to a couple of enchanters. It's been things like the Nami, the Rakan, these things he's kind of looked to go for. I wouldn't even mind if he went with the Rakan here and just kind of say, okay, take the Nautilus bot lane. Yes, it's a bit of a soft counter matchup, but a huge engage potential with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rakan is incredibly strong, but it's a good answer into the Jinx as well. But when you're not sure what the Jinx is, I think you do leave it for a little bit. Looks like Croc isn't going to go towards the Sejuani. Now, I'm a little bit worried because one of the things with the Sejuani is obviously she likes having those melee matchups in the mid lane, so something for a Nautilus in the mid can work quite well, but it definitely feels like when you've got the Nautilus, they want to pair with the Nidalee, there's the Jinx, and now the question is, do you try and take this Rakan immediately for yourself? Do you go for something like the Thresh? Are you happy to just go with the Tam Kench once more? Because honestly, the Tam Kench did a lot of work, as the desk pointed out, against this 1-2 combo of the Nidalee and Nautilus.
It really did. The Seos, was around the map more than he was bot lane, in my opinion, as well. So he was just covering a lot of what Yike could do. We'll see what they end up kind of going for right now. Again, I wouldn't mind to see them take up the support here. It would mean that you are kind of getting, more pressure down there. Or maybe they go for top lane, get the Jax, and now you can ban away things like the Fiora and the Camille, get those off the board so Broken Blade can't really go into that matchup.
Yeah, still though, we've seen that Broken Blade has a lot of picks that he's happy to play into this top side, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him still have an answer in this top lane. We are going in towards the ban phase though. Gragas immediately taken off the board here. I still think looking towards like Threshes and Tam Kench is probably G2's best bet, just because, again, you saw what happened the last game where you had that safety net. I think removing that is going to make things significantly more comfortable. But you could also be looking towards the Ahri. It's very difficult to lock down the Ahri for the Nautilus, so maybe just say, hey, look, it was too big of an issue last game.
See what they want to go for. They're taking their time with these bans. They're definitely thinking about it. They go back towards that Blitzcrank again. No point in having a Thresh or a Tam Kench on your Jinx if you just get grabbed over a wall. So not too bad to get that one off the lane. And then we'll see where Loud want to go for. Because Loud could turn around and say, look, we'll ban the Thresh, and then you either have to ban the Tam Kench or we take it.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to see them... I wouldn't be surprised to see them ban the Thresh. It was the exact same last game, right? We're seeing very similar drafts, nearly, apart from the fact that we're actually going to get the Darius ban instead. So respect being given to Broken Blade. But I think, as you say, now it's a question of, are you comfortable taking the Thresh? Because it does offer you the safety, still a little bit difficult when you're up against the Nautilus and the Nidalee to try and save someone as well as the Tam Kench can. But that is always an option, and just denying that away from Mickey as well.
So when they'll go for and get the engages from Mickey on that rail in that last game. So many multi-man Magnet Storms coming in, and it just really felt like he was just the ultimate engage they needed. They go back to the Leona, so it's been the exact same picks and bans from the side of G2. Slight alteration from Loud, but basically the same kind of pick order. They've got their jungler and their top first, and now they're going to be trying to round out their comp with the support, and you would imagine the mid last.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go towards the Rakan in this situation because you are up against the Nautilus. If you end up getting ulted, well, you're just bringing that into the rest of your team, which isn't ideal. So we'll have to see if it is just going to be an answer with the Tam Kench, and then keeping that counter pick for Tin Owns in the mid lane. I thought it was really strong on the last side, and it looks like they're going to do it once more.
Going to do it once more. Get themselves a Tam Kench. And again, Seos had a fantastic game. The Tam Kench did exactly his job. We mentioned it multiple times how Root was able to kind of go into a fight, get caught, get out, and still have his summoners because of the Devourer. So we'll see what G2, if they want to try and change anything out. They will have to change top lane because that Darius is no longer available to them, and they know they're going into a Jax as well.
Yeah, at least now you get the counter pick for Broken Blade because you do understand the matchup. We've seen him bring out a lot of strange things. Poppy did get some serious buffs, and it looks like she's going to be taken into that top side. Really cool to see her going to be picked up here for Broken Blade.
We'll see what G2 want to round out their composition with. They could go Hook City as well, but right now there's kind of flicking through a load of different options. Nice smile, a smirk on Mickey X's face as they look to try and kind of round this one out. I like the Lulu a lot here because it gives you that extra little bit of kind of survivability and kind of just makes it so hard to burst people out in those kind of big skirmish team fights.
Yeah, curious to see now exactly what they can try and do, especially when you don't have a huge amount of threat for the backline. Like, yes, you've got a Wukong, but he's going to struggle against something like a Lulu, even having the Poppy there to keep Jinx safe as well. So a huge amount of this game kind of coming back to once more, G2 saying, hey, we have great wave control, we have great opportunity here to set up this long range once more and make things awkward. It looks like Tinone's going to go back to what we talked about in game one, having another engage tool there to try and give threat towards Hansama in this game.
And I mean, big amount of CC that can go down on a single target here. You've got the Jax with the Counter-Strike, the Cyclone from the Wukong, and of course the Glacial Prison, or Glacial Tomb, I should say, from Tinone. So lots to be able to kind of be afraid of there. But for G2, plenty of engage. Very almost identical comp that they had in game number one, where they're looking for Hans Sama to be that big damage alongside Yike.
And it does feel like, again, we're kind of seeing, as you're rightly pointing out, it's like Broken Blade, I am PL Tank. I sit in front of this and make sure they're safe. You got your engage coming through from Caps. That's the setup they want to try and play around. And it is up to Loud to see, can they get those engages to disrupt? And I think with the Lissandra, it becomes a little bit easier than with the RE, where you're trying to land a charm. It's that single damage CC. Whereas when you look towards this, threat on side lanes with the Jax as he starts to scale later, threat as well with Tinone's for Hansam on the back line. This is going to be a game where if you can get Loud having that strong early game once more, they have more tools to try and punish G2.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think G2 are kind of bringing a lot of kind of, you know, confidence, I would say, but also a little bit of shakiness. Maybe the nerves are going to be off now. You've had your first game on stage. You can build a lot more from there, but this is always going to be second.
Build items.
Build items.
Yeah.
You know what? You're bang on. You know what? You're so sharp. You're the best tool in the toolbox. But again, looking at these compositions for Broken Blade, I was just given it by my assistant, Quickshot. Second ever time Broken Blade has played the Poppy on an international stage, and he's got himself a win on that last one.
I love how even when he's not on the cast, he just needs to get the quick stats in anyway.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what has happened.
It's Quickshot's world, and we're just living in it. But London, we are jumping onto the Rift. G2 1-0 up. Loud need a bounce back, or will the LEC number 2 getting themselves a clean 2-0? We'll have to wait and see.
30 seconds until
Already you can see the game plan here for G2, trying to move into the spot side. They want to get vision, so you can start to get that push for G2, make sure there's no funny business sort of happening here. Already vision cleared out. G2 looks like just going to continue to push forward. Looks like the invade is actually going to be the case here.
Great level
see if they
one.
can spot out Croc.
Great level 1, and a huge amount available for the Loud side, but they just get themselves some vision. They know they were spotted out because they cleared out that ward, and they backed themselves away. So Loud, very respectful in that sense setup right there. But again, you're always going to be very wary of a Nautilus at level 1 because of the sheer amount of CC he has. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I think this is kind of where you get that push-pull from G2. Caps, obviously, in the Nautilus is going to provide that engage, but he's going to have to be that big setup for them. If Caps isn't there, a lot less threat here from G2 on towards Loud. And it's going to be a case for Broken Blade of, hey, I will stand in the front line. I'm going to try and disengage every time Tinone's tries to go in. Anytime we get Croc trying to go in. And it's about trying to keep Hansama safe. Poppy did get some buffs coming in on 13.8. She does more max health damage by 1% from 8 to 9. She gets increased resistances as well off her W, the steadfast presence. So definitely going to be something where she's a little bit tankier and can't be that big front line.
I have good news. Croc started with items. So Croc will get level 2 from his buff, even if it's not contested, and he will get himself a little wins, little kind of silver linings that come into this one here. But again, it's the international stage. Those little mistakes can happen just because you're almost over ready for how much you have to bring in and kind of push yourself. But Broken Blade having a bit of a better trade now into Robbo in that top side, but it's going to be difficult for really to kind of get that push back until he gets a couple more levels in that queue, gets himself the buckler to kind of keep the shield up, and that's when we're going to start to see the Poppy have a little bit of a better time into the Jax.
Poppy is actually quite a tough to deal with in lane because, as you say, she's got that passive, but also just the fact that you're constantly have to prop the Grassy and dying with it. Hard to trade back because the steadfast presence prevents Robo from being able to leap forward. You also get the speed up on the little runaway, so it makes it hard to just land that counter strike. So overall, pretty decent matchup there. We'll have to see if it is something where G2 can kind of weather the storm up there and continue to put pressure here on boss.
Smite on Croc, no smite, and he gets it, but he's gonna die. 1v1 me, bro. Mickey looking for some supportal combat.
He pops off in the last game, and now it's first blood for Mickey as well. This is exactly how they want to try and play off the last game. Get Yike to go for these invades. They spot Croc off the bot lane push, and that's such a great start for G2.
Massive momentum there, and it means that they know they have no fear in this bot side. They can continue to push that one up forward. Robo will put himself in that top lane to try and crash this wave, but again, so difficult against a level 3 Poppy. You talked about it. Even a steadfast presence means you can't even, if she gets on top of you, you can't leap away.
Yeah, and that's where it's just going to be a case of continuously trying to see if you can get control here. Even the fact you can go for someone like the Osborne Gauntlet. But as you say, bot lane, Caps on the roam.
Looking for a Javelin, but they won't get it. They need to clear out this wave as soon as they possibly can. There is a TP here on Tinons if he wants to try and use it, but he would love not to. They're going to get the traps down, and they're going to jump on the Seos, but he will not go down just yet. The minions are here on time. Cap Spider-Man's himself away, but there is a Gravitum. Do they have anything else more? No, you survive the bot lane gank. Good from Loud. They used a lot from their own side, but they gained a lot more potential in those other lanes.
But again, Caps gets the reset. He'll have the TP. He can get control of mid. You can honestly come back for this play once more if you want to. Caps!
You could feel the wind whispering past Root's ear there. But Croc will use this as an opportunity, knowing there's 4 people on that bot side, get a little bit of an invade in. And we're seeing a bit of a swap in terms of where the junglers are highlighting now in terms of their pressure.
This, though, we're just getting replay. Great invade coming through. Yike clears his bot side, immediately starts to move in here. And Croc, there's nothing he can do. Yes, he does get the buff, but doesn't realize that Yike is there. And then with the Ignite coming through from Mickey, they managed to take him down. Yike even had an insult to injury, getting the 25 gold off the creep. But, as a clone even, but just about. Robo not having the fun time in this top side.
No, Robo is going to be forced to go back. He has got a TP. The wave is crashing into him. Not the biggest thing in the world, but G2 starting this early game much brighter than they did in the game number 1.
TP now coming through from Robo back into the top side. Mickey is here. Yike considering moving up. Caps also has push in mid. This could be a dive once more here.
Looking for Mickey, and they're bringing in the cavalry as well. Yike and Caps trying to push more pressure down here onto Robo, but can he get away? Can he get himself level 6? That's the question. They're going to look for him now. There's going to be the counter strike to try and get him, but they've just got so much CC. He flashes over the wall, but the buckler gets him as well. So that's going to be another clean dive for G2.
He didn't stand a chance. And this Nautilus is continuously getting that push and just being able to roam to these sides. Again, because Tinons had TP to the bottom lane, Caps just has quicker tempo to get back to mid. Immediately shows one wave, and 30 seconds later he's in that top side. Fantastic stuff from G2, and controlling the early game much better than they did in the last game.
This feels like what this is the power of the Nautilus, because now he's going into a 1v1 against Tinons, who should be fine, has got the Glacial Path, but getting these constant ganks off seems to be the reason you pick this mid.
Yeah, and it only took several years for Caps to kind of look at me and go, you know what? That is a good idea. I will
What you
do
did
that.
to me in 2019 wasn't okay.
Yeah. And now Tinons is kind of feeling the brunt of that. Loud, though, are using the fact that she's got push and bot to start getting this dragon for themselves, so at least they are starting to get some control over some of the objectives. But I think the big problem is going to be when we start to look towards the Rift Herald in just 2 minutes time, where you can push in bot, start to rotate your bot lane up. Broken Blade already has that big advantage. She completed. Cap's going to be sitting on the opportunity with that ultimate to look for picks even beforehand, make it very difficult for Loud to play the game when they don't have flashes on their top lane.
Skirting around the vision here. Tinons does have flash. Yike is not level 6. Ooh, misses the Javelin. And they can turn back down onto Caps here, who's going to have nowhere to run. 1 or 2 more auto attacks will be good. Good flash there from the Wukong. And a bonk on the head means he goes down. Yike had just got himself in on top of this. He's going to be forced to flash, you would imagine, and keep himself alive. But Loud saying, look, don't disrespect us. We're still got a bit of firepower.
And every time we've seen them try and make a play here in mid, G2 have crumbled. Tinons and Croc have got the better of them. Game 1, it was the difference maker. Game 2, comes back to hit them. But Mickey and Hansama, a lot of control on the spot side. Should be able to get a plate and may even deny some of this wave as well. Root can't really walk up here.
Yeah, a lot of this wave is going to go to the wayside here. They'll get the XP, but will they be able to get the gold? That is the question here. And you can see, look at the CS difference leading to about a 600 gold lead in favor of Hansama. And you've got Ignite available for Mickey. Did lose his flash.
Oh, they want it though.
Wants to flash Ignite so bad. If Mickey had flash there, he flash ignites and looks to drop down the picks.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the damage there to try and follow it up, but still, you're pushing Root away from this bot side, and this is kind of what we're talking about. This Jinx has been pretty pivotal for G2, but now on the top side, they want to try and put the hurt on as well.
Got flash here onto the Poppy, doesn't even need it. They will smash him into the wall and take their kill. Flash forward as Seos nearly goes down. The zap shall secure the kill, and Hansama and G2 go themselves up to 4 kills on the board.
And it was looking so good for Loud in game 1. One blunder came back to hurt them. But game 2, G2 were having none of it. A 4,000 gold lead, controlling bot, punishing top, and there's nothing that Loud can do to respond. They're just getting pushed in too heavily.
And they're losing on all fronts. 20 CS and a couple of assists in favor of Broken Blade in that top side. 2-0-1 in the jungle. 1-0 and 25 or so CS in the bot lane. It's just, they're winning across the board because, again, the Nautilus is it's just an engager. It doesn't need to be ahead.
Yeah, but you can see when it starts to fall behind, it doesn't quite work out. This game, though, G2 have been doing such a good job of playing around it, getting that push in mid, getting the invade on bot side, putting Croc behind, just making sure that it's not impossible for them to really do anything in this. Now, Sales trying to move in towards the mid lane. He does have Croc there, but I don't really think there's much you can do to respond to this Rift Herald.
No, not really a lot. You can kind of challenge that one well. Loud did pick up the first dragon. They picked it up fairly early as well. So they will be able to kind of go out. Robo is in the vicinity. The smite is available for Yike and shouldn't be too hard, but Caps is roamed down. Gonna get himself the CC in, but Robo has nowhere to go. No support coming from either. Look at the mini-map. There's nobody here to help him. Finally looking to try and trade this one back, but with a 3v1 situation, it's not exactly ideal. Now Hansama in a lot of trouble. He gets CC. The minions doing so well to block him, and now he's turning back the damage. Tinone's in a little bit of trouble as well. We'll have to get the Glacial Path out of there. And bot lane, you're a little bit overextended. They need to make sure Rout's getting money, though, as Croc looks for a little bit more, but no Cyclone.
Doesn't matter. They're denying so much from Hansama. That's all they want to do, and Yike now trying to move down. Croc in trouble. Tinone's, what can you get?
Tinone's looking for it. The Super Mega Death Rocket goes completely wide as Caps finally makes it to 4v4. Rout gets routed, and now he's going to try and get himself away. He's trying to move away off this flash away, so you can see Caps finds the most insane hook I've ever seen from a Nautilus. How the hell does he get that? Because G2 get themselves 2 kills off it.
And look at the top wave. Poppy taking towers, G2 taking lives, and G2 do not want to let Loud get into this game at all. Croc, you've nowhere to go. What can you do? Just about able to walk away. Yike wasn't certain he was able to take that with Tinone's there in the wings.
How the hell did Caps land that hook? That was absurd. There was so many people ahead of him, and now you're looking at a nearly 6,000 gold lead for G2, and we just hit 10 minutes.
And this is what we talked about. G2, when they get leads, do not let their foot off the gas pedal at all. They've been incredibly good all LEC long of pushing their advantages every time they get it. Bot lane, ooh, Root taking a little bit more damage than he expected. But like when you actually look at their stats, it's been absolutely insane. Like goal difference of 14, they're first. When they look at their when they look at their kills, they're first at 14. This is what happens when G2 gets a lead. And even here, Hansama, great zap, setting up for Yike, and then Caps just coming in off the side, managing to just barely eke it around everyone to get it onto the Aphelios.
Angelina Jolie curving a bullet right there for Caps and just getting so much off it as well, because again, if he misses that, it doesn't really make a big deal. He'd probably lose the Tam Kench anyway, but the Aphelios gets out. But huge moment. I don't even think Romain thought that hit.
Yeah, Romain looking significantly happier than he did in game number 1, and he has every right to be. G2 are not letting up. 3-0-3 on towards an Italy. Yike very quickly getting towards that Night Harvester, but a lot of this game once more has been Caps getting control over the mid and starting to actually get the roams down. This Nautilus looking so much better. And now you got the first tower up on top. Bot lane is not going to be long to stand as well. The fall back towards the Dragon as...
That's a solo kill. That's a solo kill. Broken Blade just going solo bolo and takes down Robo.
I mean, easy pickup there. Poppy doing work. The Divine Thunder already completed and Robo's just gone. And now G2 are like, fantastic. We have a TP on the Poppy. We can just start up this Dragon, and there's not much that Loud can really do. Even Mickey, oh, Croc, you don't want to go there.
You don't want to try and go in on top of that, but they're trying to hard force because they have to. They don't have a choice. Now the Lissandra is in, but you've lost your jungler, and you have to run away. Hansama with a little bit of a reset, zapping in, and Yike picks up a kill. He can continue in. They can look for a dive.
It's a zoning spear, maybe not a zoning flash. Yike wants to try and get involved here. Moving in underneath with Sales here, but you've nowhere to go.
They got to devour. That's the big key thing here. If they try and go on top of Rout, he will get devoured in. Caps misses the hook, and they're getting a TP in as well. That's going to be Robo coming in. The knock-up is good. They're turning it back with the Moonlight Vigil. G2 may have bitten off a little bit more than they could chew, and Loud are not done yet. It's a small silver lining, but they're still fighting with everything they've got.
And the lining is starting to tatter as well, as you can see Poppy pushing in the mid. Yike sitting around here. Hansama, what can you do?
Eos does get zapped, does have flash, needs to try and get himself away. These traps have been disgustingly accurate as a hard engaged tool. Yike tries to look for something here. as they continue to go for this one. Caps is coming in the Poppy as well, but Croc has come back. Round 2, let's fight. Broken Blade behind the tower, looking for the flank of Aegis. He does have himself so much, but they got to devour. He got nobody, but the Tam Kench had to sacrifice his life. It's scrappy, it's all over the place, but it's still G2 in control.
It's still not done. Tinone's moving down. He has flash, he has
No vision.
Can he set up? Mickey got
No
to spot him
vision.
out.
They're looking for him. They're looking to try and get in with the Croc Cyclone as well. He can't get in front of it. Yes, he can. 4-man Ring of Frost, and now here's time, LL. You need to go for this, but they're just too much damage. They're just too far behind, and G2 will trade it back 1 for 1.
A last-minute wild growth will keep Yike alive, but again, haymakers back and forth every time, but this time G2, they're dodging a few that Loud are throwing, and they're picking off a few themselves. Croc, you're out of there!
Run away! Run away! He's nearly taken down by the buckler, but shall just survive. And oh my lord, Dagda, G2, they are just caking everything in their stride. Loud are trying to just knock him off the horse, but then they're going to kicked by the horse themselves.
They're not getting a chance to even get up, get into a riding position, because when you look towards everything G2 have, Night Harvester completed, Kraken Slayer completed, Abyssal Mass completed, Divine Storm, they are so far ahead of their counterparts across the board. Loud just can't keep up. We're nearly 14 minutes into the game, and that's a nearly 10,000 gold lead we're looking at for G2.
It's absurd. We still have just lost the turret plates there, and that is just a crazy advantage right now.
We're only getting second Rift Tower in a second. Like, they're going to be able to crack open mid lane turret. They can look for a second. Like, it's not even a Baron that we're starting to stare down. This is G2 fully in control, and this is the G2 that was so terrifying in winter and what we expected to see in playoffs, but missed in spring.
And that's the big thing. We saw the turret plates going down there. 2 full turrets of turret plates went down in favor of G2. It led to about 1,300 gold in their favor. So just so much being able to kind of go for them there. And they're kind of continuing on. Yeah, they're all ahead.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like you can see Caps in the mid lane. He's been involved in everything, but he's been dropping waves for. And this is a style that is high risk, high reward, but G2 are taking all the rewards and might take sales as part of that as well as a bit of a bonus. But mid tower under siege, Croc trying to move into position on the wings, but actually going to start moving bot instead.
You can see that you want to try and put down damage. Your Gale Force in, but again, the Aphelios just won't do that much damage until he gets the 3rd, 4th item. And then right now, they're just kind of struggling. Shirley is going to be picked up here by Yike, and that's going to give them more pressure around the map wherever they decide to go for it. And this is the thing as well, you've got double TP here for G2, so they can cover all the side lanes. And that's a lot of damage coming out from Hansam, and it's just kind of going forward. He doesn't care.
You have to be so careful as Loud. G2 own the jungle. Yike will be spotted, but now Caps leaving off from the top side as well. That's why Root has to move away from this, and it's causing them so many issues. Look at the amount of wards that we actually have in this top side. Thank you, observers. As you can see, it's just littered with the control that G2 have.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're just getting everything. Wards, traps downs. You can't sneeze in this jungle without G2 knowing what you're up to. And now they just gain that control. They still have Shirley for Yike, so they can drop down the Rift Tail. They might not even need the Rift Tail. There's no one to defend.
Yep, they're easy. Still keep on to the Rift Tail. You still got Caps pushing in top side, and Yike just threatening up towards this lane. You can even see there just the whimsy, making sure G2 can move up here immediately. And Robo, what is he do? Just going to back away, but the tower will be forfeit.
Dead, yeah, absolutely dead. They might even crack open the base here at just under 16, or just over 16
But
minutes.
need the charge.
Shirley doesn't even get to do her favorite thing. She doesn't even get to get the head bop off. She'll get it on the next one, but again, how do you stop this as the side of Loud? Well, you stop it if everyone else just goes away, and you won't lose the tower. But I mean, you've lost so much control around the map.
I think G2 want to make this a statement game. We're here at MSI. They want to try and push this one quick. Only the bot tower remains, and Poppy for Broken Blade already moving down to try and collect that wave and just keep Loud in their base. We still have 3 minutes until the Baron. Dragon is up, but G2.
Oh, they're looking for a Zeus. They're going to jump over the polymorph. The heal is good, though, onto the Tam Kench. She's tanky, but not tanky enough. The hook is fantastic, but it's onto Jax. And they wait for the wave to kind of push in now. And honestly, right now, G2, they're kind of pushing in on all fronts. The Loud don't know where to go. They're being pulled too far apart.
I mean, there's times where you think, hey, maybe you shouldn't crack open the base, give all that extra gold. When there's a 12,000 gold lead, I don't think that matters as much. And the fact now, as you can see, they're going to move back, they'll get the dragon, they're going to buy a ton of items off this, and so much of it comes from just off the control that they had. Croc takes that step too far forward, ends up getting completely destroyed by the damage that comes through from that Jinx in the Italy. There, the surprise, absolutely beautiful. It's not exactly what Sayas would have liked to see, but the hook to follow up doesn't matter. And now Dragon goes across. I mean, Loud, we were hoping that they'd be able to bring this back, push us to that game 3, but G2, you really don't want to give them that opportunity after the first game.
And I have a little, I mean, right now it's all G2. We were prepping a little stat that before these 2 games, Caps was 8 kills away from 500. He's had 2 total in this game and the last game. So we're probably not going to get that one. But I mean, this Nautilus is showing the power it can get when you said, as you said, when it gets ahead. We have seen it go behind as well, but now Loud, they need to look for something. They need these objective bounties. They need something to go for them. Otherwise, they're just going to keep falling. They're going to keep sinking. I
mean, what do? You're a full item behind on your AD carry. You're no control whatsoever in the jungle. Again, another full item behind with this 7-0-5 for the Nidalee on Yike. And you're pushing in on top side. Like, G2 have full control wherever the hell they need, and there's very little that you can do. You don't even have the vision to really look for flanks. You can see some pings onto the wards where Yike is standing, but that one's cleared out immediately, and now you have no opportunity here as Loud again.
Croc's already half HP. He can't really engage onto this. He only has a Divine Sunderer. Hasn't even finished off his jungle item. He's actually still kind of lolling around with a 900 damage smite, so this is just so tough right now for the side of Loud.
And you need Tinones to kind of find this big engage with the Lissandra, but again, I don't even know if you get that if you have the damage to try and follow up with all the big item discrepancies. Mickey X just trying his best now to start to poke forward, but you can see there, I mean, this is the siege power they have.
They're looking for something. They got to try and get onto him, but he's got a Lulu, so Yike's just not going to go down, and you lost all your health from that javelin to the face. And now G2, they may look for a 20-minute win. They've got the minions on top. They've got the minions in mid. They could go for everything.
They nearly got the Wukong's health bar as well. Hansama wants to put him in the dirt, and he will!
Hansama wants this game to end. They look shaky in game 1, and G2 want a statement in game number 2. However, he needs to stay alive. That Aphelios is still dangerous, but this wallet is just too damn big.
Rude has the perfect guns. He's trying to see if he can make the hero play. Dodges the hook. Stepping forward, but Cap says no.
Cap splashes. Caps gets the CC down, and it looks like it's all not for Loud. G2 will be looking for a 20-minute win, but now Yike without flash, but he's got a Lulu, so there's no damage.
There's nothing left in the tank. Robo's back to base. Tinones has no flash. He has the ult. What can he try and achieve? Robo pushing off on the side.
Looking for it. There's the first keeper's verdict we've seen this game, and it might be the last one as well. They don't have the minions just yet, but they're getting all of these health bars down. They're getting the kills. The Nexus is exposed, and in 20 minutes, 2-0 to G2. Massive statement game from the LEC second seed.
G2 threw down the gauntlet there. A team that was questioned coming in 4th place in Spring Split. Can they step up? Can they right the ship? And this was it. Cap's fantastic performance, constantly roaming on the Nautilus. Yike getting to fall back to those carry picks that he's been playing right the way back when he was in the LFL, when he was playing for LDLC. And again, Mickey and Hansama controlling and dictating that bot lane made it impossible for this Aphelios to do anything.
I mean, it just felt like once that Wukong got killed at his blue and the Lulu got double buff spot, that was it. That was the tone of the game set up for G2. And Loud, I mean, they tried their best. I mean, I'm glad to see them going out swinging. They tried to make things happen, but there just wasn't going to work out. They just found themselves in too many holes that they couldn't get out of.
And it's sad to see. I mean, especially after that game 1, it felt like we got to see what Loud are capable of. One blunder leads to a second, and they just end up falling short. But this one, G2, complete dominance and complete control. They never gave them a look in at all. And as you say, like, the Lulu getting that first blood, being able to keep control for Yike in that jungle, the vision control they had, there was just no answer for them.
And I mean, this was a huge series for G2 as well, because again, 4th in Spring in LEC, not really a lot of confidence from people. A lot of people kind of questioning them coming in. Of course, we had Raz mention that Elyoya says, no, we believe that G2 are still the 2nd best team coming out from LEC, but it needed this kind of performance. We needed them to come out all guns blazing. I won't lie, I was a little worried after game 1, even though they won it, but this game 2 was definitive that they are going to come out here and try their absolute best and be at their absolute best.
Now we'll have to see if G2 can continue that streak. They'll be going up against PSG Talon later on in the tournament. Loud will be dropping down to play off against Detonation Focus Me, as it will be the decider for Group B. But, I mean, G2, if I PSG Talon, PSG Talon had a dominating game 1.
Yep. We
got to see exactly how they wanted to play the game, even playing a much faster pace, I will say, than what we saw domestically, which I'm excited about. But Broken Blade
as a mouse.
You can see the confidence that G2 have, and that's a scary position if you're PSG.
He's just telling everyone how to play League of Legends with a mouse. You know, don't leave your mouse at home. But I mean, look, great win there from G2, and I like that you bring up the PSG point as well, because PSG also had a game where they should have lost, but then came back in that game 2 against DFM. Game 1 dominant. It was almost the reverse here for G2. Very rocky in game number 1, then swapped it up and really picked up the pace there in game number 2. But I mean, for Loud, there was so much positive coming in from that game number 1. We had so much praise for them, and it really felt like we could have, built up so much for them. And I feel bittersweet, really, to kind of talk about that, because again, I was coming out so hyped for them. It just nothing happened after game number 1.